Please rise and join me in welcoming His Excellency Dr. Irfaan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana.
Thank you very much. Very kindly, please have your seats. Our dear Prime Minister, Vice President, members of Cabinet, members of the diplomatic community, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the leadership of our men and women in uniform, and most importantly, you, the leaders of our villages and communities across the country. Today, once again, we gather to listen to your voices, to understand your challenges, to appreciate your specific circumstances, and through your individual voices as leaders of your communities, the collective voice of all our indigenous people across this country. That is what the NTC brings, the collective voice of all our indigenous peoples across this country. Today I welcome you to a space and an environment that is listening, one that you can trust, not only to listen to you, but one that you can trust to deliver to you. This government has consistently demonstrated that we don't only listen, we consistently deliver on what we promise. And that is important. It is important to know that you have leadership that is respectful enough to honor its commitment to you, respectful enough to stay true to its commitment to you. And whilst the road to full prosperity is still being built, whilst the road to ensure that we maximize the land allocation that can be allocated to our Amerindian communities, while the road to great prosperity for all the people and all the villages is still being constructed and will continue to be constructed, we cannot afford to lose any momentum. We cannot afford to gamble with this road to prosperity. We cannot afford to lose sight of what is important for you, your communities, and your village. And I assure you that this People's Progressive Party civic government that I proudly stand and represent here would never ever abandon that road of prosperity for you and your villages. On behalf of all of you, I want to thank our men and women in uniform who are at our borders, defending all of our sovereignty and territorial integrity. I want you to give them a resounding round of applause so they can know that we are with them in love and spirit. But importantly too, I want to thank all of you, especially those who live on the border communities, for your vigilance, for your vigilance, for your strong protection, for your patriotism, for your strength of character, for you who stand up every day on the border, raising our golden arrowhead high and strong. And on this note, I want to thank also those of our international partners who stand strong with us, who are vocal in their support for us, who are vocal in their support for the rule of law and international order, who are vocal in their support for peace. You hold a special place in the heart of Guyana and every Guyanese. Let me also recognize the enormous transformation. And sometimes when we speak about transformation, we can get carried away only looking at physical things. But only a few days ago or 2 weeks ago, we had in Guyana one of the region's largest fashion designer showcase. And 30% of all our national designers were Amerindians, were indigenous people. That is not strange, because Guyana knows about your creativity. Guyana knows about your creativity. But because of the investment and the opportunities that are now available to you, you are putting that creativity to work, and you are leading from the very front, and I congratulate all of you. This space, this National Toshaos Conference, belongs to all of you. This is your space. We, your servant leaders, are here to listen to you in your space. We are not seasonal. We are your constant. We are not opportunistic. We are your everyday, as you are our everyday. There is not a single cabinet meeting where some issue concerning our indigenous people is not addressed. There is not a single meeting of the People's Progressive Party leadership in which the concerns of indigenous peoples are not raised and addressed. For a matter of fact, as a single group, you occupy a significant space in the leadership of the People's Progressive Party. But not only a space, significant contributions are made. So every sphere of this government life, at the political party level, at the cabinet level, at the government level, your views, your ideas, and your concerns are represented robustly. Today, we salute not only the architect of the first LCDS, and also the great leader and contributor to LCDS 2030, our Vice President, and also you, the leaders, because the greatest contribution to the LCDS came from you, the Amerindian leaders and people, because we did it through consultation with you. We did it by honoring your intellectual ability, your cultural position, your sustainable ideas. We did it by engagement with you. I also want to honor the LCDS Secretariat and the team that work diligently every single day to ensure we maximize the benefits of the LCDS. Today, we are expanding the LCDS to include biodiversity as is in the LCDS 2030. And Guyana will be hosting the first Global Biodiversity Alliance right here in Guyana, where once again, you, the leaders of our indigenous community, will have an opportunity to showcase to the world what sustainable development really feels like, look like, and mean. You will have an opportunity to demonstrate once again what constitutes sustainable development. We in this government are committed not only to the expansion of our economy, but importantly, we are committed to the expansion of opportunities in every village, in every single corner of our country. We want expanded opportunities. We want to assure you that this and successive People's Progressive Party civic government will continue to advance Amerindian land titling, will continue to maintain the value, the nominal value of the LCDS resources that will be transferred to your communities under your own management. We will continue to create more job opportunities. And you know you can trust us with that. Not only have we reinstated the CSOs, but we have created new businesses, new entrepreneurs, nurses, doctors, teachers, lawyers over the last 4 years. And you can depend on us to continue along this pathway. We've invested in technology, connectivity, and you can depend on us to continue this investment for you. My dear friends, leaders, my respected leaders, you can be assured that under successive People's Progressive Party civic government, we'll invest to ensure there's food security in your villages. We'll expand production. We'll invest in food security. We'll invest in financial empowerment, not only by increasing grants, subsidies, and other direct financial transfers to your community, but through economic literacy, through financial literacy, and through the creation of various initiatives that will enable you in your villages to earn more, to be empowered, and to create great opportunity. Just like we're doing now with the cage farming, the fish farming, the honey production. You are part of a revolution in the agricultural sector. The spices, new investment in coffee, cocoa, high-valued commodities. We are going to partner with you. A continued social transformation in health, education, important infrastructure. We're going to continue to make these investments so that not only will you have quality social services, but more importantly, you will manage those social services yourself, because we are investing in a human transformation so that your doctors, your nurses, your engineers will come directly from within your communities. These are the real investments we are making. And let me pause here to just give you an idea. I will just use the example of 2 sectors to show you how this transformation is taking place across our country. If you look at health, for example, in Region 1, when we look at the period, because we have to assess from where we came, when we look at the period 2020, when we came back into office, this is what we met between 2015 and 2020. In Region 1, I'm going to go through all the regions. 100% of our neonates with complications had to be referred outside of Region 1. Less than 50% of medical supplies was available for your citizens and your communities. In Region 1, we had less than 23 community health workers. We had 0 surgeries conducted in the region, 0 ophthalmology surgeries conducted, 0 facilities, 0 facility with vaccine refrigerator, 0 oxygen generation production, and 0 telemedicine facilities. And my friends, it was under Dr. Jagdeo presidency that we built one of the most modern ophthalmology centers in Berbice, not only for Guyana, but for citizens across this region. We did it without oil. And in 5 years, that facility was shut down. We had to come back and rebuild that facility. And today that facility is doing thousands of surgeries, not only for Guyana, but for the CARICOM region. So this is what, and I'm only going to give you 2 sectors examples. So this is what we met in 2020. %90 of all critical pregnancy, as I said, had to be referred. Today, in 2024, because of the investment we have made in healthcare in Region 1, we had 0 referrals out of the region. The investment in neonatal services, the investment in our health centers, we had 0. Between 2015 and 2020, more than 15% of the patients, even if they need X-ray and ultrasound sometimes, had to be medevaced out of the region. In 2024, because of the investment we made in healthcare in Region 1, less than 1% medevac was needed. This is the qualitative changes. Between the period 2020 and 2025, in Region 1 alone, we've invested in healthcare for your communities in more than 16 ATVs, 6 ambulances, pickups, minibuses, motorbikes, and more than 25 boats and engines. That is investment in healthcare to move patients, to move health workers alone in Region 1. My dear friends, if we look at drugs and medical supplies, between 2015 to 2019, according to the records, during that period, drugs and medical supplies availability in Region 1 was less than 30%. Less than 30%. Today, between the period 2021 and 2024, we had more than 95% drugs and medical supplies availability. This is your record. You should be proud of this, because it is under your leadership in the villages and communities that you are also achieving these groundbreaking development and advancement. And I want you to applaud yourself this morning for this enormous development. Training of healthcare professionals. Not only are we investing in the infrastructure in Region 1, during the period 2015 to 2020, less than 60 healthcare professionals were trained. And this is not nurses and doctors. This is the continuous training. Our hinterland healthcare workers was never the priority between 2015 and 2020. Less than 60. Today, between 2021 and 2024 alone, we have trained more than 330 healthcare workers. Let us take the Maburuma Hospital as an example. The Maburuma Regional Hospital, for the entire period between 2015 and 2019, we had 15 surgeries. The entire period at the Maburuma Hospital, between 2015 and 2019, we had 15 surgeries. In last year alone, At this hospital, we had 570 surgeries. And I applaud our health workers also who are serving in these regions. These are the facts. This is the reality. This is what none of us can escape. The factual position. At Maruka District Hospital, between 2015 and 2020, we had 0 surgery. With the investment we have made, today we have had 85 elective surgeries at this hospital in 2024 alone. In Region 1 alone, over 10,000 people of your residents were tested, had their eye tests completed. And 7,012 of your residents in Region 1 received the free spectacles after those tests were completed. Almost 1,000 women were screened for HPV. We have now in Region 1 56 vaccination sites across the region. 56 vaccination sites. Between 2015 and 2019, we didn't have any oxygen plants in Region 1. Today, we are generating 2,000 large and 1,050 small cylinders as of January 2024 of oxygen right in the region. Oxygen is now distributed to 10 additional sites in this region. These are the developments that we talk about. We have 17 telemedicine sites. When you look at malaria, in the last 4 years, we have seen more than 50% reduction in malaria cases when compared, not even to 2020, when compared to 2022. And this is the investment in healthcare in this region is going to continue. We're going to complete the new Maruka Regional Hospital. We're going to expand the services of Mabaruma Regional Hospital. We'll have new surgical theaters, CT scans. We'll establish a nursing and allied healthcare training complex in Region 1. We'll be upgrading many of the health clinics into polyclinics. We are going to continue this investment, the expansion of lab services in many villages across the region, the implementation of the electronic health record system, the establishment of a regional pharmaceutical bond. We're going to expand the transportation network for patients. We're going to build more accommodation for doctors, nurses, and medical practitioners. And by 2030, we're going to eliminate malaria in this region. That is Region 1. Let us look, and I'm going to give you 2 sectors, but it's important that we do this today. Let us look at Region 7, and I see the Toshaos from Region 7 are here. Between 2020 and 2024, what have we done? We've invested billions of dollars in the healthcare system in Region 7. We have added more than 45 pieces of different forms of transportation for the easy movement of medical practitioners and patients. Between 2015 and 2019, you had less than 45% drugs and medical supply available in the region. Less than 45%. Today, between 2020 and 2024, you had 85% availability of drugs and medical supplies. In 2020, We had 2 annual outreaches within this region, health outreaches, 2, benefiting 1,500 patients. Last year, in 2024, we had 24 health outreaches benefiting more than 9,000 patients. We have expanded the services available in this region by leaps and bounds. We have added new medical specialty, both in equipment and in human resources, to this region. 43 new community health workers were trained and added to the staff. More nurses, more doctors, more patient care assistants, and most of which came directly from your communities in your region. We invested in their training. We invested in their development. My friends, we're going to continue to invest in healthcare in this region, not only at the health centers, making them polyclinics, not only expanding the array of services, but ensuring that we build a state-of-the-art hospital in Bartica. We're going to invest more in transportation, more in training and human resource development to ensure that you have quality health care. When you look at Region 9, let's take a look at Region 9. Between the period 2015 and 2020, you had 0 surgeries at Aishalton and Anai. 0 ophthalmology surgeries were conducted. Ophthalmology surgeries were conducted. 0 facilities with vaccine refrigerators. 0 oxygen generation production, and 0 facilities with telemedicine. That was the record 2015 to 2020. In 2020, when you look now, between 2015 and 2020, 90% of all critical pregnancy had to be transferred out of the region. Today, less than 2% need to be transferred out of the region. Between 2015 and 2020, 39% of patients required medical evacuation to the GPHC. In 2024, this dropped from 39% to 3% because of the investment we are making, the improvement in the services, the quality of services. Drugs and medical supplies in Region 9. Availability of drugs and medical supplies between 2015 and 2019 was 45%. Today, it is 90%. There was 0. These very people who claim to care, they had 0 specialist outreaches in this region between 2015 and 2020. In 2024 alone, we had 8 specialist outreaches reaching 55,000 people across this region. And let me give you some striking stats. Between 2015 and 2019, 0 nursing assistants were trained, 0 MLT, 0 hybrid professional nursing, 0 nursing, 0 malaria trained personnel, 0 healthcare leadership training, 0 physician leadership training, 0 PCA, 0 vector control field assistant training, 0 NICU nurses training between 2015 and 2019. 0! Between 2020 and 2024, we have trained more than 550 of your residents in these areas. Between 2015 and 2019, there were 0 surgeries at the Latham Regional Hospital. Between 2024, in 2024 alone, from 0, we did 1,216 surgeries at the Latham Hospital. Today, the services of the Latham Hospital are of such high and exceptional quality that we are now taking record number of patients from Brazil getting their surgeries done here in Guyana. It was the reverse before. These are the real facts on the ground. Driven, yes, by the vision and ideas and hard work of the PPP civic government, but importantly, implemented by the strong leadership of our health workers, our community workers, our regional assets, and you, the community leaders. This is not our celebration. I am not giving you these important facts as a celebration of this government. It is a celebration of us as a country. It's a celebration of us as a people. It is a celebration of our health workers. It is a celebration that we should and must be proud of. My friends, eye tests and spectacles in Region 9. Almost 2,000 persons would have benefited from spectacles. Today, we have 25 vaccination sites, which include a regional cold storage facility. Today, we are generating oxygen right in the region, 2,100 large and 1,050 small cylinders. These are the investments that we are making. The malaria test positivity rate has dropped significantly. We had a 53% reduction in malaria cases. And we're going to continue this investment in Region 9 with the completion of the new Latham Regional Hospital that will include new surgical theaters, CT scans, etc. A new regional pharmaceutical and medical supplies bond. A new medical school for healthcare professionals. Our nurses will be trained right there. Expansion of the services of the district hospital with the 5 core specialties. Expansion of telemedicine, implementation of our electronic health record system, expansion of emergency services system, graduating health centers into polyclinics. These are the investments that we will continue to make. And I want to assure you that for every single sector, I can give you these records. But I'm only going to do health and education today, because over the next 5 years, but over the next 5 days also. On that note, let us all raise our golden arrowhead. Let us all raise our golden arrowhead. And I want you to give a big wave to our friends and neighbors in Venezuela and tell them every single square inch belongs to all of us. I'm watching the international community lift those golden arrowhead for us. Thank you very much. My friends, and I will now turn my attention to Region 8. In Region 8, basic things like X-ray and ultrasound, almost 50% was referred out of the region. We had almost 40% of all patients had to be medevac out of the region. 0 surgeries were conducted between the period 2015 and 2020. Today, what do we have? Let me give you one example. In 2020, 360 cases were referred to GPHC. Today, 180 only, half was referred, and 94 persons were referred to the regional hospital at Madhya. When you look at transportation, again the same story. Massive investment in transportation to support quality health care. Between 2015 and 2020, you had 55% availability of medical supplies. Today, between 2020 and 2024, the average availability of medical supplies and medicines was 93%. 93%. In 2020, you had 2 annual outreaches. Today, we have a minimum of 4 annual outreaches across the region. When you look at decentralized training for community health workers, nursing assistant, MLT, and a hybrid professional nursing, between 2015 and 2019, we had 0 persons being trained. 0! In the last 2 years alone, we have trained 136 persons. In 2020, we had 0 surgeries done annually. Today, in 2023, we had 24 at Madhya performed for the first time. 24 elective surgeries performed for the first time right there in Madhya. And 23 at the Madhya District Hospital in 2024. Between 2015 and 2019, we had 0 ophthalmology surgeries. Today, we have 26 quality health care for our citizens there in Region 8. And this story continues for every single sector. In Region 8, you can be assured, you can trust us to ensure the completion of the new Cato Hospital, the upgrade of the Madhya District Hospital with ICU services, 24-hour operating theater, and an emergency service upgrade. We'll have the upgrade of Monkey Mountain. Dozens of villages across the region will see upgrade from clinic to polyclinics. We will have the implementation of telemedicine, the electronic health record system, as we continue to build quality health care for the people of Region number 8. Today, when we look at education, it's another big story. Another big story of transformation and development. And I just want to give you some quick highlight into education. When you look at, let's start with teachers training and capacity building. As of December 2024, 83% of all teachers across regions 1, 7, 8, and 9 were fully trained. 83%. And we are working to make this 100%. Importantly, this 83% is a transformative increase from 2020. In 2020, we had less than 43% trained teachers in hinterland, in the hinterland communities. At the end of 2024, we have 83%. 83%. When you look at new recruits, the percentage of increase in new recruits of trained and available teachers in the hinterland community is more than 318%. More than 318%. The total number of hinterland teachers today stand at 2,435. Most of whom come from your own villages and communities. This is your transformation to celebrate. Let me hear you celebrate your transformation. We are happy that as a government, we are able to facilitate such a massive transformation. But at the end of the day, it is your accomplishment. But as the chairman of the National Toshaos Council, Toshaos Derek, as you said, and who am I to doubt such an honorable man? We must remember who facilitated the transformation. We must remember who we can trust to continue such transformation. When you look at student transportation enhancement, and I'm not talking about the transportation we give to the villages. This is directly given to the education system. We had almost 100 transport facilities handed over directly to villages to help children to get to school. And this is outside of the transportation allowance and because we gave a grant that was taken away from you, that we gave you back. And we must not be shy about it. We must not be shy about it because it's a statement of fact. It's not a fallacy or a fantasy or a dream. It was a reality that there was a government in this country under the brand of APNU, AFC, and the others that extracted from your children's pocket monies that the People's Progressive Party put in their pocket without oil and gas. Today, we have the highest attendance in schools across the hinterland. We have more hinterland students transitioning to secondary education. That is why we're investing to ensure that we'll have universal access to secondary education. And more importantly, there is a reason, and let me give you maybe the starkest understanding of what our investment in transportation would have done for the hinterland communities. Today, 60% of all our new nurses in a nursing program, in a nursing assistant program, are indigenous Guyanese, our Amerindian brothers and sisters. And that did not happen by accident. That did not happen by accident. That happened because we were able to invest in their secondary education. So now they have the opportunity to get the entry requirement into the nurturing program, into the medical program, into the education program, into the army, as officers, as cadets, because we made the investment, we made it possible, and you made use of the opportunity because you are good people. Because you are people who understand development and appreciate development, and you make the best use of the opportunities that are before you. My dear friends, when you look at textbooks, you know, between the period 2015 and 2020, we visited communities all across this country. We visited communities all across this country. And one of the big concerns was that you didn't have textbooks. Your children didn't have textbooks. Textbooks were not available in the schools. Let me tell you what we have done in the last 4 years. We have put in your children's hands in the hinterland alone 1,890,000 textbooks valued $1 billion. 1,890,000 textbooks we have placed in the hands of your children. This is what caring and loving looks like and feels like. This is the reality. This is the truth. These are the facts. Inescapable. Inescapable. My friends, when you look at ICT access and training, today we have 158 hinterland schools connected to high-speed internet using low Earth orbiting satellite technology. And we're going to continue this investment. And this matters because it's part of equity. We have, in the last 4 years, built 79 new schools. We have, in the last 4 years, built 79 new schools in hinterland communities. We have renovated completely 27. And if that was not good enough, this year stands out because we have 54 schools under construction across our hinterland communities. And when we speak about universal secondary education, we are not speaking in a vacuum. Out of those, 16 are new secondary schools. 16 are new secondary schools. When you look at the Guyana Learning Channel, because of the investments that we have made in Region 1 alone, we have 53 schools connected and more than 11,000 children connected to the Guyana Learning Channel. And this was a channel that we invested in without oil and gas. Without oil and gas. In Region 7, we have 37 schools connected, benefiting more than 7,000 children. In Region 8, 30 schools connected, benefiting more than 3,000 children. In Region 9, 54 schools connected, benefiting almost 8,000 students. This is what real development looks like and feels like. And we know that our Amerindian villages and communities are a reading population. And whilst digital technology and e-libraries, well, now it's changing because many universities and the new norm is to go back to book libraries. We've invested, and today we have 70% of our schools across the hinterland having their own libraries. We are not speaking about development and transformation in a vacuum. We can point to every sphere of national life and demonstrate to you how we've invested and what the investment would have led to. We can demonstrate to you the benefits for every citizen and every community. Your presidential grant last year was about $395 million. This year, your presidential grant altogether would be more than 532 million Guyana dollars. So that tells you already you have an increase. And over the coming 5 days, we'll be listening to you as we implement more and more measures to enhance your life and livelihood. My friends, let us look at what we will continue to do with you. I spoke about financial empowerment, social transformation. I give you some examples. But importantly, we want to continue this project of building the village economy, building and diversifying the village economy. This is what is going to lead to true sustainability. This is what is going to create a robust environment for development. This is what is going to create futuristic opportunities for the people in your villages. But as we build these village economies, important is your cultural expression. We're going to put more resources to not only secure, but to promote your cultural expression, because the cultural expression of our indigenous peoples are a foundational pillar of our nation and what our nation is built on. We're going to continue to invest in your transportation and infrastructure. I was speaking to the ministers of housing, and every single community now want investment in their own housing schemes. And there is nothing wrong with that. When I was a technician and then a cabinet minister, right here at the National Toshaos Conference, the then president placed an idea of communities making it easier for us to have more centralized services like water and power by building in a community style. Today, you yourselves are requesting from the ministry such investment. This is because of the transformation that is taking place, and you want to be participating in every level of the transformation. Today, I always joke and say one of my first meetings in the Amerindian community as a technician, the biggest request was for cutlass and file. That is where we came from. The biggest request was for a cutlass and a file. Today, we must celebrate that with this government, we can ask for concrete road, asphalt road, tractors, ATVs, health centers, police stations, but not only ask for it, but know that you will get it under the People's Progressive Party civic government. Let me give you a joke. I'm not good at jokes, but let me try. But this is not a joke. This is a fact. I want to ask the leader something this morning. Growing up, I know the Prime Minister, Anil, actually you're a countryman, I don't know if you're a countryman. But those who grew up in the countryside, there are stories of neighbor stealing neighbor duck or fowl. And when the neighbor steal the neighbor duck and fowl, PM, why are you laughing? What they will do is that they will cook the duck and fowl. And they will give the neighbor who they stole from some of the gravy. Now today we have a more scientific approach to this thing. Some people are coming in the name of philanthropy. But it's the same concept. They come in the name of philanthropy. They steal $10 million US, which is how much billion? $10 billion. No, you bring this thing down. You're calculating the interest and the penalty. But imagine you steal. Oh my, you're slow on this thing. Imagine you steal $10 billion. You didn't pay $10 billion in your taxes. And then you decide, I love you. I am now in philanthropy. And I give you some gravy. That makes sense? You ain't giving no meat or no bone. You're giving the gravy. And then you say, it's philanthropy. My God, have mercy on thy soul. That is not philanthropy. That is exactly what it is, the old-time dog thief. I mean, it's a statement of fact. Let us be real for one moment. Let us be real for one moment. Your development and our development is at stake. This is not guesswork. This is a daily grind. You know it as leaders in your community. Let us not gamble our future away. You're strong leaders. You're independent thinkers. My friends, let us look at cultural expansion, the transformation that we'll continue to invest in. Investing in your transport system, investing in your physical infrastructure. We're going to support, and I want to make this very clear, because you are religious communities. The church, the temples, and the mosques, and every other religious institution plays a key and critical role in our community. And most of you are Christians. And you know that a part of faith, a strong part of faith, is giving your tithes to the church, supporting the work of the church. But I believe, and we in this government believe too, that as our country grow in material richness, spiritual richness, and human richness, that a country also must support our religious organizations. That a country must support our churches, our temples, and our mosques, because they play an important role in the social, moral, and civil fabric of our society. And one of the things that we will do is that we will work with our religious community in transferring resources directly to them to help them in their work. This is what love is. This is what building a one Guyana on strong grounds is. So whilst spiritually you have your individual responsibility, your family responsibility, and your community responsibility, we in this government are going to take national responsibility as we move this country forward in supporting our religious communities. We're going to invest to ensure the economic diversification of your communities, high quality, high speed connectivity of your villages, your children, your homes. You can trust us to disburse directly to you resources from the LCDS. Increases in your grants, presidential allowances, support to your children, the elderly, and women. You can trust us to increase such support in successive People's Progressive Party civic government. And important to you is security. Security is very important. And we had about 250 requests from Toshaos, leaders, and other village elders, or persons recommended from the villages for firearm, shotgun license mostly, for the protection of the villages. And this is an issue that is raised. I am pleased to tell you today that every one of those applications was processed, and you will get those licenses to take back in the villages. Training. We'll continue to expand the array of training. We'll invest in bringing more business and entrepreneurial opportunities, marketing and product development for your tourism. We're going to set aside specific resources under the Ministry of Tourism for hinterland marketing and promotion, for your direct village eco-tourism and other tourism facility will have direct marketing budget, separate and apart from the rest of the country. And as the process of constitutional reform and reform of the Amerindian Act continues, we're going to ensure that you lead this process through consultation with you, through working with you to ensure that your voices form the basis of the law. Your priorities are reflected in the legislation, because laws are made to reflect the aspirations of the country and the people. Laws are not made to be on paper and on shelves. They are made to stimulate development, advance development, protect, ensure a just system. These are the things that we have to invest in. These are the things that are important to us. And I'm just giving you a few highlights. I can go to my speech now. But I know we have 5 days together. And I would leave the rest for the time we will spend together over the next 5 days. But I want to encourage you to be strategic. For us to look at the big picture. For us, because we are listening to you here about the future too. For us to work together on developing that holistic plan that you can trust us to support you in achieving. That you can trust the People's Progressive Party civic government to supporting you in achieving. Together, we shall rise. Together, we are stronger. Together, we are better. And whilst there are few in our society who would shout a message to divide, 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 our message in the People's Progressive Party civic is clear. Unite, 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 unite. And Annette, like Dave Martin would want us to say, whilst they say hate, 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 we say in our message in the People's Progressive Party today, love, 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 love abundantly. Love abundantly. Love with all your heart. And keep all those unwanted rabbits out of the field of corn. You're biblical people, and you understand what I mean. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make His face to shine upon all of us. God bless Guyana. God bless our indigenous leaders. God bless our indigenous people. Thank you.